This is YoonHee. Her story is one of Korea's biggest unsolved case. She is a young college student who vanished without a trace. The clues including who went inside of her small apartment and deleted the search keywords in her computer, who put her diary in a random location in her school. All these questions have never been answered even 15 years later. It truly remains one of the most haunting, weirdest, strangest stories that you'll ever hear. Has anyone else been going through a lot these days in their mind? Like, I feel like 2021, it's literally about to be 2022. It's literally been like 3 years since the pandemic, and we're all just getting older, and it just seems so weird, and I'm just having like this midlife crisis where I feel a little lost. If you've been feeling like that lately, you're not alone. I hope I'm not alone. It's almost the holidays, and I have a perfect gift that you guys could gift your friends and family for this holiday. If you guys love fragrances and trying different scents and becoming a different person every single day and switching things up, Scentbird is perfect for you. They're a fragrance subscription service that gives you the opportunity to shop from over 600 brands, and you can choose a new designer fragrance to try every month for just $16. Names like Prada, Gucci, Versace, as well as indie labels. You take a quick Scentbird quiz to find out what kind of scents that you love. I got 5 fragrances this month, and one of my favorite was Skylar Magic Bloom. This one has yuzu, pear, and magnolia, and it smells so good. For me, I love that unisex citrusy smell. There's definitely something for everybody, and I highly recommend this one. Magic Bloom. It smells so good. And look at the sizes. It is so big. This is a 30-day supply worth of fragrance. You could also send a gift subscription to whoever you would like. These fragrances just make me feel super elegant and like I have to go to a party every night. So make sure to use my link and code down below so you get 30% off your first month. That's only $11 to try. Let me know what your choice of fragrances are. Mine is clean, citrusy, and very unisex. This is YoonHee. She was just 29 years old, attending university, majoring in veterinary medicine. She was in her 4th year and she was just about to graduate. Friends remember her as being someone that was just a school person. You know, those person that never misses a day in school, studies well, and like they really strive to make their dreams come true. And you see these photos, she had love for animals. She also had 2 dogs herself that she really cared for. She was living alone in a 1-room. I know a lot of college students live alone, especially in Korea, because their house might be far away. Living alone just really worked out for her. It was on the night of June 5th, 2006 when she was out drinking and eating with her 40 other classmates, and this was kind of like an end of semester party. On this particular night, she stayed out pretty late, and it was around 2:30 a.m. when she decided to go home. She was sitting next to a male friend named Kay. According to Kay, he says that Yoon seemed like she wasn't in a good mood that day. He says that she wanted to leave the gathering without saying goodbye to anyone, and when she left, he kind of like grabbed her bag and left with her. Kay says that he would usually walk her to her house after these kind of meetings since it was late and dark out. He also says that he was holding her bags for her. This information alerted some people because, as you know, at least in my experience as well, unless a male friend really liked you, they don't really hold your belongings for you unless it was your boyfriend or your crush. A normal male friend really wouldn't hold the bag for you unless she was super drunk, which wasn't reported. But either way, it seemed like there was a lot on her mind. On this particular night, she said she was fine and he could leave just about 100 meters shy of reaching her building. On the rest of the way home, she needs to pass by this dark, narrow alleyway. Kay says that he was really worried about her, so he decided to follow her footsteps just behind, but he claims that he did make sure she went inside her apartment safe. And he was the last known person to ever see Yoon. According to some of the classmates, they claim that Kay had a secret crush on Yoon, but he really wasn't the type to be upfront and direct, so he was kind of like a 짝사랑, we call it in Korean, just a one-sided crush, and he just never confessed to her. It's been about 2 days when she wasn't in school and there was no way to contact her, so her 4 friends decided to go and visit her apartment to see if she was okay. To get inside the apartment, they also called the police to pry open the door, and once they opened the door, they were so shocked to find how dirty and messy her apartment was. Her stuff was all over the floor, And most importantly, her dogs, her 2 dogs were just roaming free in that one room. They were barking at them. I mean, there was feces and it smelled pretty terrible because of the dogs. They could immediately tell the dogs really haven't ate or, been taken care of for a couple of days, and they knew that Yoon hadn't been inside the house for a while. According to the police, they didn't go in with the suspicion that she could be in big trouble, and their goal was to just find her because they thought that she probably just went to a vacation with her boyfriend. She was just dealing with things on her own, and she was an adult and she wasn't a minor, so this wasn't an alarming thing for them. For some reason, we don't know who suggested it, but the friends claim that they didn't want Yoon's parents to come in and see the shocking mess of the room, and they wanted to be good friends for Yoon so that she doesn't get in trouble by her parents, and decided to clean up the room for her. Which was a huge mistake because they just basically cleaned up the possible crime scene. But of course, the friends didn't know that at the moment that this could be a crime scene. It's been couple days, couple weeks without any notice, and when they were apparent that Yoon wasn't coming home, the police decided to do some further investigation. They took a look at Yoon's computer, and this is when things turned for the worst. Forensics found that around 2:59 a.m. on June 6th, someone searched on the computer assaults and 112, which is a rescue number in Korea. They're suspecting that this had to be Yoon because she left the gathering around 2:30 and probably arrived at the house around 2:50 a.m. The computer was turned off at 4:21 a.m. and it was reported that Yoon never really turned off her computer. And this is the last known trace of Yoon. Of course, the main suspect that the police were eyeing on was K because he was the last person to see her. But according to K, he says that Yoon said she felt uncomfortable sitting next to the teacher during that gathering. Again, she described her as being very sad and depressive that day.
But according to her other friends who were at the gathering, they didn't notice anything off with Yoon. They saw her laughing and having a good time. So could Yoon have hid her true feelings from her other friends? And only K knew something was off? Or are the statements from both sides not reliable? What do you guys think?
Other than his words, which he was very forthcoming when it came to, speaking to the police, there was no physical evidence connecting K to Yoon's disappearance. On top of that, he went through a lie detector test, and it was proven that he was telling the truth to all the questions. There was also a blood stain on his clothing, but because he was also a veterinary student, it was proven to be a blood from an animal. They also did a DNA test on him, and nothing came up, and he was released from any suspicions.
Keep in mind, K was also among the 2 friends who stayed at Yoon's house to clean up after the police left.
Let's go back to the extremely strange clues here. There were some dried flowers hung up on the wall which fell on the floor, and this was at a distance where the dogs couldn't reach. So according to the friends who saw that, they believe that maybe there was some kind of a physical altercation. But because the dogs were released and they were going through the trash, and obviously dogs make a mess when the owners are not there, they really couldn't tell if this was the dogs or a real physical altercation. So if something did happen inside of Yoon's apartment, it had to be somewhere around 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Neighbors never heard the dogs barking or never heard physical altercations. I mean, this was a villa or an apartment, and usually those old buildings, they're usually thin walls. You could hear things happening. And neighbors were never awoken by any sound that they heard that day. It could mean that the dogs already knew whoever was coming inside of her apartment. And it also leads to the fact that she willingly opened the door for whoever it was because there was no evidence of forced entry. Her parents also say that Yoon would never leave her dogs just roaming around the apartment. She would always have them caged or fenced up inside the terrace or the bathroom area. So to her parents, dogs running around meant that she left without knowing that she was not gonna come back. Or the last person to leave the apartment was not Yoon.
Another possibility people suggest is that maybe she opened up her messenger system on her computer, kind of like AOL chat, if you guys know what that is. And she was chatting with someone. This person might have told her to come outside. And it could be the reason why she didn't lock her dogs up and why neighbors didn't hear anything inside of her apartment. I'm gonna come back to this part, but because someone deleted her computer data, this remains just a theory.
Now, something very strange happened to Yoon just 4 days before she went missing. She was on her way home at around 12:20 a.m. from her studies, and while walking back, someone on a motorcycle snatched her purse. In her purse, she had her ID, wallet, phone, and her contact list booklet. Now, this booklet was kind of like a diary to her as well. She put a lot of personal information about her friends, family, her passwords, and whatever incidences that happened or emotions that she was feeling, she could have possibly put it in this booklet. Because she lost her phone that day, that was one of the reasons why she could not reach out for help, assuming that someone has taken her or kidnapped her. So investigators are trying to connect this theft to her disappearance, because what if whoever done this to her did this on purpose? That they were the one on the motorcycle stealing her purse so that they take her personal information and her phone so she could not call for help the day that they were going to kidnap her. She probably had her address on that booklet. This happened in 2006, so a lot of people wrote contact lists, phone numbers on booklets instead of keeping it all on your phone. And this is a chilling clue that I just have such a bad feeling about. So about 2 days after she went missing, at the same university animal hospital that she studied at, someone discarded an animal corpse that mounted up to 110 kilograms or 242 pounds worth of body parts. So this was a normal protocol because it was an animal hospital. I'm not really sure what they do there. That means a lot of animals had to die if it mounted up to 242 pounds of body parts. Police and the university also say that this was an unusual amount of weight when it comes to discarding body waste. But the usual protocol in these animal hospitals is to have these containers of the corpse to be sent to the incinerator without any questions asked, because they believe that it's just parts of animals that passed away. But because this was already discarded, incinerated, no further investigation could go into this. Yoon was also reported to be only 48 kilograms. This just put a bad taste in my mouth and my brain. Not only potentially could a human body be there, I just have a bad feeling about what potentially could have happened. Another creepy thing is she had a new contact booklet that she made after her belongings were stolen, and that booklet was also lost. But just 1 week later, one of her booklets, I'm not sure if it was the old one or the new one, but that one was found by 2 male students, and it was found near the animal surgery room behind a computer. It was reported that Yoon herself did not go to this part of the university or the hospital often at all. The 2 male students inside the police records claim that they saw this booklet sitting there starting from June 5th, which was before she went missing. But another crazy thing is when documentary crews and people call these 2 male students like 14 years later and ask them about this booklet, they claim that they don't remember at all. One of the guy in the police report literally says, "What? I never remember saying that. I'm taken back because it is information that I had no knowledge of." So these 2 guys don't even remember giving this information to the police. So is it the fact that they really don't remember and someone was using these 2 guys' names to masquerade themselves? Or are these 2 male students lying, saying that they don't remember giving the statement to the police? I'm half and half about this, because if it's literally written in the police records, like, it's hard for someone to lie and say that they don't remember. And in the phone call, I don't know, it sounded like they really didn't know and they were not stuttering. But no doubt the suspect had to be someone that she knew and that she was also working with or studying with inside of her school. In a more recent investigation, computer experts were analyzing the data of her computer and found that someone, back when this happened in 2006, deleted the login data report from June 4th to the 8th specifically. And they used some kind of application or third-party app that was not well known in Korea back then. So it was someone that was also knowledgeable and ready to do this.
So police discovered that on June 10th, someone logged into Yoon's music service account and even checked her emails. The location was found to be coming from a motel, but police claimed that they searched CCTV nearby the area but haven't found any suspects. Like, what? Could this have been Yoon herself at a motel logging in? Or was it the suspect? Or was it that thief that stole her items? Or all of this related? that's the mystery.
Police did do a mass search of potential places that a body can be found, and they never found her. Another potential suspect when I was looking into this case, could it have been a professor? I mean, she did confess and say that she feels uncomfortable sitting next to the professor. This is her parents 14 years later still searching for her. Yoon would be in her 40s now if she was still alive, and her parents are still holding on to the hope that she would be alive because they never found her body. The only thing that the family can do is do a one-person strike in front of the police building, as it's been so long and people just have forgotten about this case. Also, my theory is that because she did not have a phone, I believe she was searching 112 on the computer trying to get to an operator somehow, which is really sad because without a phone there was probably no other way to call for help. But either way, it remains a big mystery who went back to her computer multiple times to try and erase their tracks, and how they didn't get caught doing this just baffles me as well. It just shows you that there was a lack of investigation at the time. Let me know what you guys have thoughts and what you think happened to Yoon, and do you think she's still alive today? Your like in this video and sharing is going to really help to bring back these old cases so they are not forgotten. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video.